for the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of the Wednesday, January 10th, 2024 remote meeting of the Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee was posted on the Township's website and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this remote meeting would take place. Oh, it's not via WebEx now. What is it? It's
Microsoft Teams.
Microsoft Teams at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. Okay, Tara, would you like to do the roll call for us?
Yes. So Vanessa Jones,
Present.
Anne Marie Orlowski,
Present.
Jim Kolegowski,
Here.
Jignasha Patel,
Present.
Christopher Gonda.
Present.
Okay, we also now have Robert Kovacs with us.
Present.
Okay, and Councilman Alex Karazi.
Present.
Okay, and did I miss anyone? I don't think so. No. Okay, so we are all here.
Okay, great.
So just before we get into the next thing, since we just did the roll call quickly, just so everyone knows, our new liaison from council is Councilman Alex Karazi, and he's on the call with us. So we're really excited to have you with us, Councilman.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And yeah, we're really looking forward to working with you. We also have Robert Kovacs. He was appointed
You guys
to our...
doing it? If there's something that I can do.
Oh, good. Yeah, doing good. We also have our new member, Robert Kovacs. He's on the call with us. He was appointed at the last council meeting, so he's a new member for us.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So nice to have you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Very excited to be here.
And also on the call, we have Michael Morosco. He is our intern through Rutgers University. He's gonna be working with us through the spring semester. So this is we just started working together last week, and today is his first meeting. So he's gonna be with us through May.
Welcome.
Great.
Very cool.
Robert, I know we haven't had a chance to meet you. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself before we continue.
Sure. I guess I can very briefly, introduce myself. My name is Robert Kovacs. I live in Easton Farms, which is the area along of the older homes, like the older part of the neighborhood that is right next to Easton Avenue, across from Rutgers Prep School.
Mhm.
I live on Hollywood Avenue. I've lived in Franklin for, my goodness, I think nearly 26 years. I've always had an interest in like civic things. I have a degree in politics from the University of Maryland at College Park that I got a long time ago. I was very active when I was young. Then I had to make a living because I had children and a family in the meantime. And now that my son, who's I feel like a very old man, Michael. My son is on co-op this semester in Boston, so kind of doing the similar thing. A college kid doing a thing. So I have two children. I am married. My wife Enike lives with me. My children's name are Bensa and Jofia. And from the way I speak, you might be able to tell that I'm bilingual. I have a cultural background. We speak Hungarian at home. And I am an avid user of the trails, well, at least the trails that I like to use because I like to bike. I love the canal towpath. When I started getting civically involved and this opportunity was made available, I was very, very excited to be part of the Trails Commission. I think it's a very big deal. I think making transportation that isn't real transportation, that isn't a car, something that really ought to be an option in every town. I would love to be able to bike without the fear of death. So I'm very excited to do whatever it is that I can to help support the ability to enjoy the township and the trails and everything else that goes with that. So
Awesome.
that's it.
Thank
That's my story.
you. Thank you.
That's great.
And next month we'll be meeting in person, and hopefully we'll get some time
Wonderful.
to mingle, and so we can tell you a little bit more about ourselves too. I know this
Right.
isn't fair
That would be the whole meeting
know-
if we did it all around, right?
So yeah, but I'm sure each of us has something to share based on your intro. So we look forward to seeing you in person next month. Great. So the next item on our agenda is our annual reorganization of our Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee.
Okay, so we will need a nomination for chair for the upcoming year. I heard something, but I didn't hear it come through.
May I nominate Vanessa Jones?
All right.
I'll second.
I
Everyone's rushing at the opportunity.
I have Jim and I have Chris down as the second because I saw him going. So we have a first and a second to nominate Vanessa Jones. Is there any other nominations? Okay, so hearing none, we need a vote to approve the nomination for Vanessa Jones to be chairman for 2024.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or nays? Okay, hearing none. Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity, friends. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed doing this. With the Anna Marie's partnership, it's been smooth. I know I've been picking Jim's brain from time to time as well. So I appreciate all the support. Great. So Tara, are you now looking for a nomination for vice chair?
So you're back, you're in the driver's seat again. So yes, so you're,
back.
you are now,
Okay.
yep.
All right, so I'm looking for a nomination for vice chair. I would like to nominate Anne Marie Orleski.
Okay.
Thank you. Second.
Okay, Jim with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, hearing
Aye.
no abstentions. Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Anne Marie.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Looking forward to another great year.
Yes. I know when Tara and I met on our planning session, we talked about setting goals. And so we were thinking, so Tara, we're thinking of doing that next month, correct?
Yeah,
kind
so
of
I
using this-
figured, yeah, next month I'll put together, I do it for the Environmental Commission as well. So I'm gonna just put together a table of goals based on what we've been working on. And then we can use that as a starting point and we can amend it, take things out, put things in. It'll kind of be a good way to set forth our goals for projects for the upcoming year.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
The next thing on our agenda is the approval of the November TAC minutes. Thank you, Anne Marie, for doing that. So we need a motion. Oh, so Tara, I'm sorry, yes, and say first.
I'm sorry, I just before we move past reorganization, I wasn't sure, do
Oh.
we want to do a nomination for secretary or are we going to be passing it around?
Chris, I think Chris, you had said that you would be comfortable doing it, except for in the meetings where you're not able to attend. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So would you be comfortable with us nominating you for that position?
I would.
Okay.
I'd be honored.
Someone do it quick. No, I'm just kidding.
Can we have a nomination for secretary?
I nominate Chris Gonda.
I'll
I
second.
second. Okay, thanks, Robert.
Robert, nice. Okay.
All
Secretary?
all in favor of Chris for secretary?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Perfect.
Okay. All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you, Chris.
Um,
Congratulations.
Thanks, everyone.
The next item is the approval of the minutes. Anne Marie did complete them for us at the last meeting. We have a motion.
Yeah, I'm
to-
having trouble hearing people.
Okay, can you hear us better, Anne Marie?
Well, I'm standing up now with my laptop, so maybe a little bit better. The pictures are getting frozen and I can't hear, so I'm like,
Why
okay.
don't you try turning your
I do
camera
have a
off?
comment on my own minutes.
Okay.
All right, let me try something else.
Hey, Anne Marie, if you turn your camera off, does that help?
turn it off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
sometimes
might
if you turn your camera off, it'll help.
use less network
Did
bandwidth.
that help at all? Oh, did that help?
If you can, it
Can you
depends.
hear
Can
me?
you hear us better?
Oh,
We
this
can hear
sucks.
you. Can you hear us?
Hold on. Yeah, no, I
Okay.
can't. So I'm moving in the house. Hold on. Oh, I hate when this happens. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you very well.
We've always been able
Yeah,
to hear you
only
well.
you
though.
are all cut up.
Anne Marie, if you know, you
Alright.
could always
This is
call
very
in.
frustrating because not only can't I see you, but I can't really hear you.
Anne Marie, Tara, she can call in as well. Yes.
Yes. Let me get the info.
Boy, this is so annoying.
Okay, Anne Marie, I'm going to email you the meeting info, and that has the call-in feature if you'd like to use that.
All right, I am now sitting in my hallway. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
We've
Yes.
always been able to hear you. We can hear you great.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna stay here in my hallway. So, the minutes from November, I realized there was a mistake in there. So, something should have been added, so I don't think we should approve them until I could add that in there.
Okay, we can table them.
Seems like,
Anne Marie, do you want to tell us? Well, Tara, she can also amend it. She could tell us now. We could amend it and approve them as amended, or no?
She can tell us what the change is, and then we can, make a motion to approve the minutes as amended, and we'll post them once that information is put in.
Okay.
hold on. I'm like scattered all over the house now because I had to move because of this stupid bandwidth or whatever. Ay, ay, ay. All right, so
Deep breath, Anne Marie. Don't let it get to you. You're good. You're
Thank
good.
you. Appreciate that. So under number 10 in my minutes, it was new business, should have been separated and highlighted. And then it said, oh, I love sitting on the floor here. It's great. So Tara read resolution for CBT. I should have put in what the resolution was. Remember, you gave us a resolution that open space had accomplished, and we said that we were going to support that resolution, but I should have included what that resolution was in this.
Got it. What we can do if you want is we can, where it says resolution for CBT, we can put C attached and we can attach the resolution to the minutes.
Perfect.
So if you're okay with that amendment, we can make a motion to approve the minutes with that addition.
Okay. And I'm open if anyone else has a good memory or wants to change anything. I mean, certainly.
So
Yeah.
once we have a motion, we can discuss it further.
Okay.
So does somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes and then we can discuss?
I will move to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any other comments or questions about the minutes?
Oh, we just need a second.
Second,
Anne Marie, okay?
just to move it forward.
Okay, Jim, you always have an eagle eye, so I didn't know if you had anything.
I didn't see any typos or anything like that. Just, I think as a side note, I think we also have to approve the October minutes.
Yes, that's true. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's right.
We didn't do that at the last meeting, but okay,
Okay.
let's finish November.
All right. So
Okay,
with that
so-
addition,
Yeah,
We
so
can
we
move
have
it.
this, we have the minutes with the addition, with the attachment. All in favor?
I,
So
I was not at the
Robert,
meeting,
I
so
guess I would
abstain.
recommend that you abstain from this one
Oh, okay.
because
that's
you
fine.
weren't at the meeting to compare
You're
it.
right. You're right.
I also
Um,
abstained because I was,
was also
absent, I guess.
absent.
October and November both I was absent.
okay.
okay, so Jignasha abstains from that one. Okay, got it.
And Chris also is abstaining because he was not present at that meeting.
That's correct.
Okay,
So it'll just be myself, Jim, and Anne Marie. So Anne Marie, you also you approved those minutes as well. So
Yes.
motion
Well,
carries.
Well, I guess question, Ignatia, did you say you were not at the November meeting? Because it shows that you are here. You were there
No,
in
I
the
think it was
November
in-person
minutes.
meeting, right? November
You're
was
talking
in
the-
person.
So Jim caught it. So maybe there's another error. So
No,
Jagdish,
Anne Marie, I think Jignatia was saying she was not present in October, but she was in November. Is that right, Jignatia? Yeah, because I have you as present on my handwritten notes as well in November.
Okay,
I
all right.
remember I missed one meeting, which was in person, I guess. It was in
October.
person. Last in person was
October.
October.
That was
so, yeah, I
October.
was not there in October then. Okay, I'm sorry. My
Okay.
apology.
Okay, so Jignatia is in, but you're abstaining in October, and so is Robert. Okay.
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 I think we're all set now. Now, Jim had pointed out, Tara, you want us to do, we should do October separately, correct?
Yes.
Can we have a motion to approve the October minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve
Okay.
the October minutes.
Can I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions?
I abstain because I wasn't there.
Okay, so Jignasha, you as well. You're abstaining as well from the October minutes because you were not there. Okay. All right, motion carries. So we have approved the October and November minutes.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Next item on our agenda is public comment. Can we have a motion to open the floor for public comment?
I move we open the floor to public comment.
Can I have a second? Second. Oh, Chris seconded it. Thank you. All in favor? Opening to the public. Okay, great. We are
Okay.
open.
All right. Let me unmute. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, hang on. This is new to me. Get it this hard. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so we have, I'm just gonna go down the list here. Pravesh Lal, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, okay, so everyone, oh, I'm so glad you came, Pravesh. So Pravesh actually today sent in an email asking about potentially joining the Trails Committee. So I'm so glad that you're here in the audience. I sent you the information, which I know you got,
Yes.
and I'm glad you're here. So do you have any comment or?
None till now. I am really interested in like looking at the trails. I do have my own thoughts and ideas that I would like to share with people, but I know until I do become a member or I listen to and see where the committee is headed or has interests in, at that point I would like to comment and share my thoughts.
Okay. Did you submit your form or you're still thinking about it, you're saying?
I will be submitting it tonight or maybe tomorrow morning. I will
Great.
send you an email as soon as I've filled up. I just came back home, so I saw the form in there. I know, and I'm gonna fill it up and get it out to you tonight, tomorrow morning.
Great. That's excellent.
And Pravesh, how did you hear about the opening on Trails?
Well, one was Facebook, and the other was I was attending the Master Gardeners program, and there this was mentioned. So I
Okay.
thought it would be interesting to see how it works with my interests in nature and native plants. That's where I come from. I used to be a tropical plants farmer. And from there, I want to take a look and see and contribute more to the native plants in the Northeast and specifically New Jersey.
Well, watch out because Anne Marie is going to recruit you for the Negri show gardens.
I
They're
would love
just,
to be part of
Martin,
it.
come
Wow.
on.
the demonstration gardens. She's looking for a taker.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank
Well, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, and then we also have Bill Bowman is here from the Franklin Reporter. Bill, do you have any comment or question?
No, nothing, just hello and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, Bill. Thanks for being here.
Okay, and that is the only members of the public that are present.
Can we have a motion to close public comment?
I move that we close public comment.
A second? Chris seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
And
Aye.
moving on. The next item on our agenda is the Pathways and Trails Plan.
Okay, so I am really excited to have sent around the final draft of the Pathways and Trails Plan. I do have a few things that I just need to go over with you all before it's really considered a final draft. So I just have a list here and I'm gonna run through them kind of quickly, I guess, to begin with, but let me get my screen going. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. Okay. All right. So here we go. The first thing is I have to move this. That's the first thing. Ugh, I can't move the boxes like right where the little scroll bar should be. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, here we go. Now we're moving. Okay. So I've updated the table of contents. I went in, I got all of the final maps from our IT department and I've added them in. They may need some tweaks, but I mean, luckily I have them in at least now as placeholders. But I think they're in good shape. I added and updated all the demographic information and I updated the section on the local health assessment so that the recommendations are included. I updated our Trails Advisory Committee, but this was done a few days ago. So Robert, I'll put your name in there, and Councilman Karazi, I'll also add you in. This table of contents is a clickable table of contents. So when it's posted or if someone's reading it as a PDF, you can click on the page and it'll take you directly to that page. So it's a little user friendly, I hope at least that people think that. The first question, I really just didn't want to, do this without getting everyone's okay, is on the section on visions and goals. So this is our vision and goals, which we talked about. This hasn't changed. So we talked about this a while back. The one thing I did add in here is because we originally approved our vision statement in November of 2021, I added in just one line that says, and reiterated its support at its January 10th, 2024 meeting. So our vision statement is above. It's the committee seeks to foster an appreciation of the outdoors through the promotion and development of safe, enjoyable, multi-use trails. So before I put that in there, I just wanted to make sure that everyone is good with reaffirming the support of that vision statement. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Mhm.
All right.
Oh,
The
there's a
next-
typo in
Here
advisory,
is spelling mistake.
Trails
Um,
Advisory.
Advisory.
Oh,
Trails
there, Trails Advisory. Okay.
Typo.
Thank you. Advisory misspelled. And we'll give this a final proofread too before we send it in for sure. Perfect. Thank you so much. The next area that needs a quick review is this highlighted area here is for our miles of forest trails through the township. So I received the final maps just about a little over an hour ago now at this point. So now that I have all of the trail maps, I can calculate the miles of forest trails. So I will add that in after tonight, as soon as I have a chance to just calculate everything. So that's just for your
Great.
information. Page 14 is this. So we have the Graber Woods Bunker Hill Environmental Center. The trail, so the blue trail we know is 0.60. The other trail we have listed, so that leaves 1.50 miles of trails. So I just wanted you to keep that in your mind because we are going to look at that map in just a few minutes, but I'm not sure if it's divided over multiple trails or if it's one trail that's 1.5. So I just that was kind of like just a little reminder for myself. And we are going to look at that map momentarily. So just keep that in your mind. The next area that needs, so this I updated from our local health assessment talking about trails accessibility. So now I have all the miles where multi-use paths are and some recommendations from the trails plan. I've updated all of the tables so that they all look like this now, which I think is nice. Butler Road, is this where we needed? Okay, okay, here we go. So we have these little boxes under each trail. The one for Butler Road, Chuck had worked on this, but the only ones he had in was mature trees and white-tailed deer. I was just wondering, does anyone in the committee know of anything else I can put in there that you might see at the Butler Road Natural Trails? It can be a type of bird, type of insect, a specific type of plant. You know, it's not inclusive. It's just kind of to give the reader a little taste of what they might see.
Hunters don't count, right?
Yeah, no. Anybody know Butler Road and some interesting tree species, plant species, bird species?
Well, there is.
I mean, I don't know.
It runs along it, isn't it? So waterfowl. I mean, there is that. One of the trails goes along a stream, doesn't it?
It
Yes.
does. Okay, so I can look up types of waterfowl that might be there. I can do that.
I'm also happy to reach out. I mean, this was actually Chuck's trail, and then the fact that he did all the other ones and didn't finish this one's kind of funny. So I can also, if you don't, I'm happy to reach out to kind of get some quick input.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I knew something didn't sound right about that. I made an error. My error. I'm looking at this. It's not the Butler Road Trail because you're right. That makes no sense that Chuck would do that. It's the DeMott Lane user. It's the DeMott Lane one.
That makes sense. So it's just a typo.
Yes,
Right.
I have to just put DeMott Lane. So anything else we would see on now that DeMott Lane walking path. Does anyone know of any?
benches.
I know, right? Oh, I could put benches actually.
Okay.
I could look at a map of like habitat and species that are in that general area and add them on if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do that because that's going to probably be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the wooded part, like there's a wooded section when you go, the section between New Brunswick Road and Easton Avenue, there's a part of that that's all wooded on
Right.
one side.
Yeah.
But I can't speak to, I never looked closely to see what type of trees those were.
Got it. I can look
can-
at the habitat and species map to fill that in.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like the usual. There wouldn't be, I don't think it's known for anything in particular.
Right.
Yeah.
I
You're
mean, there
right.
would just be the usual deer, fox, raccoon.
Oh, fox. That's a good one to add in. That's a really good one to add in. Okay, thank you. I'll add that in too. Just one or two more things, just so it's not like one area only has one or two things and everything else has 5 or 6. That's all.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The
Robert,
next
wait, hold on, Robert, you're in that area kind of. Have you seen anything in there when you were
Well,
pedaling by?
I was going to say that I mean, you never actually see the foxes. You know, I see the foxes off my back deck early in the morning.
I know.
But I mean, what you see most often on the JFK Boulevard, it's one of my favorite paths, right? Because it is in fact a transportation path, right? So you see your
Yeah.
neighbors is what you see on the JFK path. I don't know if that's something that, you know, makes any sense because we're always talking about trails and paths in the context of being outside of civilization, but that path is you know, my daughter can use it to go to school, right? So
Yeah, that's a good
there's
point.
something to be said. Well, at least that's the point of view that I have, that there's something to be said
Yeah.
about trails and actual genuine transportation.
Okay. All right. Honeysuckle shrubs. Perfect. Okay,
There we go.
thank you. Honeysuckle shrubs. Perfect.
The honeysuckles, yes.
We're getting there. Okay, the next one that we have to look at is JFK. So Chris, this might
Sorry.
Oh,
That's
Jignash,
okay.
do we want to get this moss, lichens, and ferns? Are there ferns really growing?
I wouldn't say that typifies the JFK Boulevard path,
No,
no.
because I don't think there would be ferns. This not the, I mean,
It's not something I would highlight on JFK Boulevard, no.
Okay, I can
yeah,
remove
even moss
that.
and lichens are common everywhere you see on the trees, on the rocks.
Mhm.
Everywhere around you will find them. They are very common, very primitive species, right?
Okay.
So it's not like particular to JFK only.
Perfect. Okay, I'll remove that.
Yeah, we can
Um,
remove.
The same question is for JFK Boulevard here. What else can be seen? I'll remove moss, lichens, ferns. But the other question, I know, Chris, you did this path, you mapped this path. Can we add the cross? Is there like specific cross streets that I can reference? And also, I have the multi-use path provides safe multimodal transit between Amwell Road and, can you fill these in for me? Do you know
Easton
them off the top of
Avenue.
your head?
Would-
Okay.
Easton Avenue, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it
what
goes
it-
from
yeah.
Amwell to Easton.
Easton Avenue and Amwell. And is there any like high cross streets that I can highlight for reference? Anything along those 2.2 miles? Anybody that's worth like referencing?
What are you looking for? Just cross streets to have for reference? I mean, like because there's Hughes, there's Renfro, there's Burger. Burger is the light.
Burger,
think-
yes, like
Is it-
some like notable cross
Yeah,
streets.
so
just-
Burger
Well-
and New Brunswick Road are both lights.
Instead of a street, might it be notable that it that's the path that takes you to Wright? If I'm not mistaken, that's the one that goes to Middlebush Park and the municipal center.
That's
No.
the DeMott
Right.
Lane one.
Oh, yeah,
She
I'm-
moved on to JFK.
I keep on mixing up the Matt Lane and JFK. I'm sorry,
But-
you're right.
That's
In my
okay.
mind.
But Robert, you raise a good point because it does
Yeah.
pass Inman Park.
There you go.
Oh,
Inman Park,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Park there.
Yeah.
Inman.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, nicely done, Anne Marie.
Mhm.
All right, I can add that in.
Tara, you may want to also add Hamilton, Amwell Road and Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's
Hamilton.
really,
Goes all
Yeah.
the way, right?
Perfect.
So, so
Yeah,
so
Emerald
so
Road is
Anne
called
Marie's pointing
Hamilton
out.
Road.
Say that again.
Yeah, I think Amwell Road is the name changed to Hamilton, right, by the JFK.
correct, right.
Right.
I think it, but at that intersection it does, right?
Right.
Or is it? Yeah, I think it turns into Hamilton just beyond JFK.
And
Perfect.
honestly, also Bettis Lane is another one that really JFK ends up to be, I'm sorry, the Cedar Grove Lane, right? So JFK ends and the Cedar
JFK turns into Clyde. So JFK turns into Clyde if you keep going forward.
right, so the Clyde, yeah.
And that's
Got
the
it.
idea of the Marconi.
But I don't
Okay.
know if those streets are how helpful those streets will be. But I really love the idea of including the fact that Harvey J. Inman Park is off of JFK, and then the Middlebush Park is off of DeMott.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that makes total sense.
And we
Okay.
mentioned that DeMott is the connector to the Canal Tow path, right? I would
Right.
imagine.
We do. Yep, we do.
And the street
All
leading
right.
to Inman is Lee Up Lane. L-E-U-P-P.
Oh, Leah,
Loop.
right. Is that how you
Yeah.
say it? Loop?
I grew up calling it Loop.
All right.
Okay.
And
All
I
right,
So
think,
funny that it's Luke.
I think someone was also saying, and they're reviving that Guglielmo Marconi Park at
Right.
the end of JFK Boulevard and Easton Avenue, so maybe we could add that in there,
Mhm.
Oh
even though
yeah.
it's a private concern, I think.
And also there is a JFK memorial.
That's
Remember
true.
at the end of JFK Boulevard?
Yeah, but isn't that a
The
private
other
thing that
side of
someone put
the-
in their parking lot there? I mean, I don't know if that's a city monument.
It's not. I
Right,
believe that is private, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's an attraction, it's something to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can add it.
Okay.
Can I just run, there's just the 3 maps I want to run by you all, just because I do have to leave shortly. So I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I run those maps by you all while I have you
Please.
on there.
Go ahead.
And Vanessa, just so you know, I sent you an email that has information on any potential updates from me while I'm gone, just in case.
Oh, great.
Okay, let me get back to the plan. Okay, so so the maps I had seen them a few days ago. There had to be some changes made, and like I said, I just got these changes about a little over an hour ago. This is the map for Graber Woods and Bunker Hill Environmental Center. I see Chuck Martin joined. Hi, Chuck. I reached out to him to ask him for his feedback, and he was very gracious and helpful in giving me it on this because he's so familiar with it. Excuse me. This is the updated map. So basically, oh, sorry guys, I'm trying to see you on the map at the same time. Okay. This is the disc golf area. So originally this was in, I forget, it was like a gold color. And to me, it looked too similar to the yellow trails we use. So I asked AT to change this to a dashed line and a different color than any of our trails because it's not really a designated trail because it's for disc golf. So I hope that's okay. I think it makes sense. But
That
this any,
explains why it's so fragmented.
I'm sorry.
That explains why it's so loop-de-loop-de-loop.
Yes, it does. That was the
Yeah.
other thing. I'm like, this doesn't look good as a trail, but when you note, oh, it's a disc golf course, it makes sense.
It makes
Yeah.
sense.
I had AT put in the location of the Bunker Hill Environmental Center and parking, of course. And then these are the trails. And again, these are all taken from the GPS mapping that was done after he digitized it and cleaned it up. So any comments on that?
Well, do you want to label it as a disc golf course rather than disc golf paths?
Yeah, we can do that.
It's a minor.
Yeah,
thing.
no, we can
Minor.
absolutely do that. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me just see, change disc golf path. Golf path to course. That makes sense. Okay.
I actually
uh,
saw a disc golf tournament on like some wacky cable channel. Those guys are good. Oh man, those guys
I
are good.
agree.
Well, I wonder if Mark was watching it,
Yeah.
but I was impressed.
If you can
Hmm.
go back to the map. So this brown one, the brown trail,
Mhm.
why does it have the white outline both outs for the
So
trail? It's only brown color, but why this white? It's for any reason? Any?
Yeah, so the brown before wasn't really showing up that well, and it was discussed having an outline on there, so that's why it's there.
So that's what I guessed, right? It's just too difficult to see against the green.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
It didn't pop at all.
So I think, yeah, that's why. All right, let me scroll down. So we have JFK. This one's, you know, a little, if you know, this is relatively up. Sorry, now my computer's having like a meltdown here. Okay. This document is so large, so it's kind of difficult sometimes. Give me 1 second. Okay. No, no, no. Okay. All right, let me go back. Trails, the floors. Okay, here we go. Pathways and trails plan. All right, getting there. That's the problem sometimes with when it's such a large document, it'll sometimes do that. Okay. All right. All right, the next one was the JFK Trail, and that one is, you know, compared to the other ones, relatively simple. So he did add in the Marconi Plaza where and the parking area. And Inman Park is on here, and then it's just we just made it the orange trail just to kind of change it up. Ay, 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 ay,
Oh
ay.
no.
I know.
But
It's like
Tara, the blazes were already done on that trail, right?
on JFK.
Oh, no, no. I was thinking Inman. Sorry.
Yep.
Never mind.
Any comments on this one?
No.
Okay. Excellent. Then we have John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve. So this is the updated map. There was some red and different things going on here. That's been corrected. The kiosk and the parking areas here, as well as Canal Road and the connection to Bunker Hill. Excuse me.
Tara, I'm sorry. Just, you know how this has the connection to Bunker Hill Natural Area here?
Yes,
Going back to that Inman map, I think it'd be nice to have something similar to the trail at Inman.
on the JFK Boulevard,
Yeah.
on
Because like,
JFK.
because I really like,
Okay.
you know, the Inman Park label's over here, but you can like it, you know, in the road comes right up to Inman, right? But I'm thinking maybe if we just have like where the trail is, if we could just identify where the trailhead is at Inman on here, I think that would be a
Got it.
nice feature.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that. Perfect. Yep. And we had, so AT added in the connection to Bunker Hill here. And then this is the final map. So he did digitize all of the data that we had, and I think it looks good. Anyone have any comments on that? Nope. And the last updated map then is the Memorial Forest. Now this looks a little crazy, I know, but the boundaries of the property are in here. This is the trail as it is in Memorial Forest. The trail is really not in great shape, but that is what's existing there. And so I told AT just to make it white. That's what is, and that really is what's there. The other fields are farmed, and there really are no other active trails right there at this exact moment.
Mm-hmm.
In the one thing I did do for Memorial Forest, let me go back to it here. In the area for Memorial Forest where we talk about potential upgrades, so this is the section where we talk about, you know, potential projects we'd like to have in the future. What I did do, I just have to find it. This is Negri. Inman. It goes, okay. All right. Now it's going too fast. Give me 1 second. Let me get to the correct spot. Lane. Okay. All right. When I see it, I'll know it. I just got to get there. What I did do, that's Neiman Williams. Of course. Okay. While I'm looking for it, I added in, I don't know if you all remember that I talked to you guys that we discussed at the Open Space Committee doing kind of an overhaul to Memorial Forest and adding in an extension and an area to actually plant native trees and then to go through our recently acquired property at Elizabeth Ave. So in this section, if I can find it, I added in that section here about what we would propose to do at Memorial Forest right now as it stands. So this way, here it is. So I added these maps in and kind of discussed right now what the Open Space Committee has talked about, and that's this trail that is the existing trail at Memorial Forest, basically going through the driveway. We'll add the existing trail itself is not here on the map because it was not existing at the time until just now, but I can add that in. And it shows the potential extension that at some point in the future will go through this property that we recently acquired. And then also added in the potential 2 parking areas because again, this is just the conceptual part of the plan right now. So we're just showing that. And then the amenities and where the trail would be and kiosk and bike racks and things like that. So I did add that in to kind of round out the lacking, you know, map that we have here for Memorial Forest.
Looks good.
And that's it. So that is the final draft of the Pathways and Trails plan. So after I take out the highlighted sections that we just discussed and I add in those calculated forested acres, it's in a position where I can send it to Mark Healy, our planning director. And the next step would be that he reviews it, gives me any comments, which I don't think he'll have. And then to adopt it as part of the master plan, it has to have a hearing before the planning board and then be adopted at a subsequent meeting. So if you all are good with me making those changes and sending it to Mark for his final review, I can definitely do that. And if he has any comments, I'll bring them back to you. And if he doesn't, I can give it to everyone for like, if you want to have one last look, although I think we've gone through it enough that I think it's in good, it's basically finished. So.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tara. I know you have to hop off. So does anybody have any final comments about what Tara just said? Any
I think it's a
questions?
great effort.
Yes, and I think it
Excellent.
looks really, I think it looks great, and I think also the really cool thing, it has so many conceptual drawings and maps. I think it's in a really, really good spot. I think it's just a great plan. I think it's really good. We did good job.
Great
10
job.
years working on a 10-year plan.
Yes, you know, it is. But the good thing is, I think the thing that kind of really took a long time with it is that these other projects kind of got wrapped into it. So it's like, you know, GPSing all of the trails so that they're actual data. That really extended it. But now we have real on the ground data, which is great, you know? And then
Yeah.
it was like, oh, let's change over to paint blazes while we're at it. And let's also update all of our trails maps. So it was a huge effort, but closing out the pathways and trails plan, it really closes out all three of those efforts.
Nice.
Tara, this is a great work. How long did it take to put this whole thing together?
It took a long time. We've been working on it since I started, which was 5 years ago, is when we've been working on it. And it probably could have, that's what we were just saying, it could have been done maybe a little sooner, but we really wanted to make it excellent. And I think it's at that point.
Well,
It
we
is
finally got rolling with it when you joined. I mean, I think we've been working on it. I joined the committee in 2015, and you know, I think that's when we were starting it up with it. And it's been a long process.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good
Great,
stuff.
great job.
Thank you. So I guess
Tara-
before I hop off, is everyone okay with me sending it to Mark Healy, our planning director, for his review and comment? Okay. All right.
Yes, sure.
Awesome.
Tara, I know
Yes.
I'm on. I have the notes you shared regarding new business and old business. Is there anything for the site plan review?
No.
Or should we table that? Okay.
No site plan review. We are having an environmental commission meeting on the 22nd, and we will have plans at that meeting. So at our next trails meeting, I'll discuss those.
Okay.
Thank you guys for your understanding that I have to jump off. I'm sorry, I just have something going on, but you know, you know, I'll be back up and running next month for sure.
Thanks. You've covered everything for us. Thank you so much, Tara. And I'll just wrap up these last two sections.
Perfect. All right, guys, I'll see you next
Great.
month.
Bye,
Bye,
Tara.
Great.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Great
Tara,
job.
regarding the recording, does it look, oh, let's hope it keeps recording. It is, yay.
It will.
Good. Okay, so just so the site plan review for our people who are new to the committee who are visiting is when the Trails Committee gets to look at space that has been recently acquired. So we are a subcommittee of open space. Open space acquires new land. We get to kind of look at it and and determine if trails are going to go on it. We also get to look at other types of properties, and looking at would sidewalks be appropriate? So not necessarily trails, but having input in general regarding that. So every meeting we have, we check in. Sometimes Tara has updates for us, and sometimes, like today, there wasn't anything to share. Moving on to new business. So the local health assessment and action plan, the final plan was presented to the Township Council and the public on December 12th, and it was very well received. We as a Trails Advisory Committee should review the full plan for ideas on projects, trails planning and design, health equity issues, and more. And some of this is stuff that we've already started working on with our project with Naaman Williams Park. Tara will discuss items specific to us at the February meeting. And we can also, there's a link that I can share for the full plan to access that.
Vanessa, if I may just add, the Advisory Board of Health also is reviewing that document, and they're going to pick up 2-3 items that relates to their activities to help to bring more equity across township. Just for your information, between Ward 4 and Ward 1, the life expectancy difference is almost like 8 years. and that's amazing. So there are going to be great activities that hopefully will come from your team, as well as the Board of Advisory, Health Board of Advisory, and then hopefully that'll help to improve or narrow that gap.
Right, right. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that's something, we as a committee have been intentionally thinking about. How do we create access to trails in the more densely populated parts of town? And, we were lucky to get the Sustainable Jersey grant to consider adding the trail at Naaman Williams Park. And there's just, we want to keep thinking. I know Tara got that micro mobility grant for us, and also thinking about, okay, what part of town? I know we talked about Zamot Lane, and then we also talked about, hey, wait a second, do you want to have something from the other side of town? Do we want to talk about wards 4 and 5, and maybe creating some type of a path linking them to some more resources? So let's all take a look at this, the data, and put our heads together to think about how we can continue to improve the health for all the wards in Franklin Township.
Excellent.
So the next item is vacancies. So we have been appointed Robert Kovacs, as we all met him earlier. And that was at the last meeting. And we weren't sure you were going to be here tonight, Robert. We thought we wouldn't have you until February. So this was a nice surprise. You figured it out.
Clever boy.
Great. And so the next item we have is moving on to old business. Oh, Chuck, thanks so much for visiting. It's good to see you. The next item for old business, we have the community energy plan and micromobility study. There are no updates at this time. I had asked Tara, there were some things that were we had taken off the agenda. I know sometimes things come off and we forget to revisit them. So Tara just put them back on, and I'm just going to say there's no updates for certain ones, and that way we don't lose track of them, and we can come back to them next month. There's no update for that. The Environmental Commission is still working on drafting the plan and hiring a consultant, which requires waiting on the temporary budget to be passed. The Green Infrastructure Project in Naaman Williams, I don't know if anybody had a chance to be out there. I was out there a couple weeks ago, and DPW has paved the path. It looks great. It looks great. You know how when something gets freshly paved, like a road, it just feels better. So they did a nice job, and it looks like they have raised. There's an under drain that's been installed in the area of most concern. Okay. So it's not exactly, to me, it didn't look exactly like what was in the green infrastructure plans that Tara had created with the input from the expert from Rutgers, but it's definitely something. And so we'll have to, she's waiting to hear back some more from DPW about exactly what they did and what the next steps are, and what was connected, because she had shared with them all of the specs, all of the guidance. So we'll see what was considered, and hopefully we'll see some improvements. It'd be
a great time to go and see what's happening now with all this rain. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah, I was there after, when I went there, it was after day after a rain, and it was good. It was good. So hopefully, we should head out there soon to catch up on the storm. Community engagement will hopefully begin in the next 2 months regarding the plans for Naaman Williams. Tara, for the memorial plaque for Melba, Tara received a quote, $300 from Crown Trophy, which is for a basic, beautiful bronze plaque, which can be affixed to a rock at Nagreenapote. The producer of the plaque strongly advised against affixing the plaque to the bird blind or a fence because of the risk of theft. The temporary budget must be passed before this item can be ordered. And regarding security cameras, the township is planning on installing cameras in the parking areas at all of our parks and open spaces used by the public over a period of years.
Okay.
Tara discussed this with OSAC at the last meeting and did research on our existing cameras. A camera similar to that at the one at the John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands in Grickstown is approximately $25,000 and has been detailed to be useful for the prevention of crime and the police after a crime is committed. Tara's going to continue to follow up on this item and she'll report back as cameras are installed. As you can see, it is very expensive, so it's not something that's going to happen overnight.
Could they target Negri Napodi as being one of the next ones that they do? Because we have had crime out there, the graffiti, and also it's a great parking lot to put a security camera and then advertise that there's a security camera there, because it would be very visible and it's right off the road, so it would probably deter more crime.
I'll mention that. And I guess we have to assess all of the different places and get input, I guess, from the police as well.
Yeah,
I will
just to see what they have to say. Sure.
Yeah, I'll mention that to Tara. The last item we have is we have trail walks and events. As at this time, we do not have anything scheduled. Are there any trail walks or events that anybody would like to propose at this time? And it's the winter tends to be the quiet time.
We can discuss in February for spring. We can start preparing for spring.
Yeah.
So February meeting, I think we can definitely discuss about the plans.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's a great idea because there's still hunting going on and.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the weather is
especially
also right
when-
now not appropriate. Looking forward to spring.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We
And
can make that.
I definitely think we can, like, in February we can get those dates, because I know we also want to get the them posted in, like, whenever the next Franklin
Yeah.
Times comes out. We want to make sure that we catch those windows. Even our National Trails Day, the sooner we can get that on the calendar, the more advertising and the more we can give connect with Parks and Recreation as well to continue that partnership.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm digressing a little bit here, but there was something about in the trails pathway and trails plan. I'm sorry I'm bringing that up at this point, but it did not include activities regarding education or bringing other people out on the trails. I was looking through it and I'm kind of speaking off the top of my head, but it's something we should make sure that it's included. I'll get back to everyone because I didn't see where I thought it was.
Anne Marie, I was
Yeah.
thinking of the same kind of thing that we have our school children. Is there any plan, for example, to take them to, as part of the education or learning about our township and our nature, to the trail? Because usually, sometimes at schools, they want to take the kids outside for field trips or exploration of the nature. I mean, there's a nature week, nature science, nature day. Is that something that maybe you can add to the list of dues this year to highlight the learning experiences of our school children by taking them some of the beautiful trails that we have?
I know that we have so we definitely have partnered with Girl Scout groups and Boy Scout groups, really trying to encourage children to come out. And I don't know, Councilman, if you're familiar with the Bunker Hill Environmental Education Center.
Yes, I am.
And so, so I know that on that, the Board of Ed used to regularly have field trips bringing classes there.
Right,
We
right.
would love to see that come back. I would love to see that come back. but I know there's been some issues, and right now that building is in need of a lot of repairs. And if that, if we feel that once that we've talked about that, so I don't know, that, we would like to use that building as well. Like, that would be a great hub for when there's events and things like that. And that would allow, is it Emily who's Max's wife, who live in the house over there, by the trails? I know she was the designated educator, for the environmental center. So we could definitely connect more with them and figure out what's going on. But I think this committee would happily support that work. But I think also kind of dusting off the structures that were in place would be good too.
I think that would be great, honestly. I mean, I'm a president of a private school in town, and I know that I look for opportunities to ask the teachers to take for half a day or a few hours of walking in our township. So if we can start that again, or if we come up with some other ideas and communicate that to schools, I think we will definitely benefit from it.
Yeah, and we definitely try to promote the hikes that we do have as well with schools. We haven't had much of a turnout, but we definitely want to continue those efforts. And Jignasha on our committee is a teacher as well. I'm a school administrator at a K-8 school, and Jignasha is a science teacher at a school here in town. So definitely, there's buy-in.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well,
Updates
Vanessa,
on.
I was
Sure.
going to say, was it National Trails Day? That's where we were. That was the location at the Environmental Center. And Chuck gave an excellent hike there. So there are very good hiking trails. So again, it seems like if that can be reinvigorated through the Board of Ed or through the town, that seems like the most logical location to fulfill Councilman's wishes there.
Mm-hmm.
His desire, yeah.
Would be great. One of the things that is happening that I've seen in the township is that we have about 70,000 people in township, right? And of course, a lot of young people, a lot of new people, a lot of people that they've called Franklin their home during the last, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years. And I don't think they really know much about the trails that we have. And it will be great if you have some sort of educational programs, or even a simple map or one-page write-up, and put that in the newsletter that Township sends out. That newsletter goes basically to every houses. For example, one of the things we're doing in town, we have food insecurity team. And as part of that, we've created a one-page for all the resources or all the organizations that people that they need food, they can go. So if we have something like that, a one-page, maybe with a map of Franklin and highlighting the trails plus the write-up, some specific, then we can ask the township to put that page in their newsletter, which will go to every household. And that may be another option to promote these trails and encourage people to utilize them.
Councilman, I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with that map. That's a map of Franklin Township. It's called the Things to Do map, and it includes all of the trails in town.
Right.
And this is what we use a lot for our marketing, because we table at Franklin Day, we table at the 4th of July, and we've run out of those maps. We've been trying to get more, but we've created QR codes. So when people come, if they don't want to take a map, they can take the QR code for that, and definitely that's it's a great resource. We want to get more people out as well. And the events, I don't know if you're familiar, but we've actually partnered, is it the last 2 years maybe now, with Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
We used to have events, and if we had 1 or 2 people come, that was a lot. We just couldn't get traction. But partnering with Parks and Recreation has really allowed us to have a pickup in our attendance at our events. And another thing that we're trying to do, and we just haven't had any luck, is getting better signage. So for instance, like we know like our Franklin Township trails, but we also are really lucky to have 2 state parks in our town, right? So we know the DNR towpath is such a great resource. We wanted to get trail signs on Easton Avenue near at the intersection of DeMott Lane, the intersection of JFK, I'm sorry, on Franklin Boulevard, showing people where to access those trails. And unfortunately, those are things we've asked DPW for, and
Do
they
you
haven't
have a
been able.
design of those signs, Vanessa? That you have the design of the signs, or
It's
you
just the standard. You've probably seen them. You know, the hiking person, the brown on the brown background,
yeah.
with
Right,
trail
right.
with an arrow. It's a very simple sign.
Okay.
But DPW has not been able to get to those things for us yet. So those are some things, little things that we're trying to do. I know. Sure.
Yeah, it's great that you're doing those, but again, since not everybody, for example, comes to the Franklin Day or some of the activities that I have participated, I've seen your maps and so forth. This newsletter that I'm talking about from the township goes to every household, and it may not be, and it's basically Safi and maybe Tara, the specific Safi will help to put that page together if you need. But I think that may be a good way to also promote, especially maybe close to the spring when the weather is getting warm and people like to get out. That may be a good time.
Are you talking about the Franklin Times, or are you talking about a different?
No, this is from our township. I don't know.
It's typically blue. It's a community reporter, I think it's called, right? It usually has the Board of Education on the back and the township news, you know, like in the front.
Robert, I exactly don't know the form that this is a newspaper type thing that goes out.
It's white with blue writing,
right? I think quarterly or biannual.
Yeah, I thought it was called the Franklin Times, but I might be wrong.
Yeah. So that may be a good way to promote as well. You know.
Yeah, we've promoted that. I'm sure we've done on National Trails Day.
That's it. Yes, that's it. And it is called the Franklin Times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim, what were you going to say, Jim?
I was going to say, well, historically, we have done a lot of marketing when there's been township events, but the past couple of years with COVID and cancellations of Franklin Day, there's no more Canal Fest. But Councilman, those maps that we used to hand out, they used to fly like hotcakes. And again, we got a lot of people, not just from Franklin, but all over in the area, and they were really impressed. And then, the map that Tara showed, we also have, that's a big, what you call it? What do you call
banner.
It? Yeah, we have a big banner, and we used to have that at, Canal, well, what was it, Franklin Day, and also 4th of July. So we always have tables. And like I said, those maps were really a good marketing tool to get people going.
Absolutely.
And again, we used to have the calendar, and we used to have the, walk the trails, things like that. So we've had a lot. It's just unfortunately we haven't had too many township events to publicize. But we do have articles in the Franklin Times.
We have.
Excellent. Yes.
But we can do more. We can do more of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there are a lot of new people in town that they don't know much about the town, right? So it will be good to give more publicity and education to them.
And for us, like I bet you. Sorry, Jim, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I used to be involved with the Franklin Soccer, so I would have tables set up there at the end of the season so that the kids would have something to do. And we used to have like 800 kids registered for Franklin Soccer at one time. And yeah, we
I used
hand
to
out
be a
maps.
soccer
We have
coach
a table.
myself.
So we
Yeah,
have, so,
I coached a
again,
team.
when the season ended, there's other things to do for the summer.
excellent.
It's like a rite of passage to coaching a team at Franklin Soccer.
Mhm.
My camera froze. I apologize. The so yeah, so I know. So Jim was mentioning we handed a lot of the maps. Unfortunately, we just, even when we hand out flyers about our hikes, we never saw a lot of traffic from that. The only thing we've seen traffic from is Parks and Recreation. Like that partnership has definitely undoubtedly been successful for us. And so that's why in February, we'll talk about the hikes that we want to schedule coming up so we can get that information. We can put it in the Franklin Times, we can put it in Parks and Recreation, and continue to do marketing and and support and encourage the use of our trails.
And in the council meeting, we always have the council's comment, and one of the things that we do is to mention about briefly about the meetings that we've attended. And so I definitely, Vanessa, I'll be reaching out to you to help me with what messages that you'd like me to share. But you can also, any of the members, they can come and during the public comment section, which you have like 5 minutes, you can talk about it. And that may not be a bad idea during the year, a couple of times. And if something nice is happening and you can talk and people listen, and it's
Sure.
there. And sometime Franklin Reporter always there, so probably Franklin Reporter will write something about it, as well as the tap into, so you will have a little bit more market in there too.
Great, thank you for that suggestion. Thank you.
One last thing, I'll have to check like the township website, but maybe if it's more prominent, yeah, again, I'm not sure exactly how it's put on the website, but maybe if it's a little more prominent, that would get a little more traffic.
Yeah, and then the township website, actually, we have the trail map. The map is there. I saw that, the trail map in the township website.
I'm just, again, I haven't looked at it in a long time. I just have to see how easy it is to, like 1 or 2 clicks or something like that. If it's buried, then it might be tough to find. That's my point. But I'm not sure exactly how it's presented on the website. I'd have to check.
Okay.
Okay. So we're now moving on to our updates on trail conditions. Before we go into that, I want to propose something that might be a resource for us to consider. Is my suggestion is that we use a Google Doc, a Google spreadsheet to record our monthly reports on our trails. What I was thinking was like to have a spreadsheet where we can see, like you're looking at, so you can look at Bunker Hill September, Bunker Hill October, Bunker Hill November, and the reason I was thinking about this was just because Tara gets our information, reports it, but sometimes asking for signage, the benches, different things, we don't really have a record of when we first requested it from DPW. And how much time has passed and things like that. And I thought it might be nice that we could have a document that's like at a glance. And we could just each just type in, it'd be a shared document that we could each just type in. It's obviously some months we don't have reports, and that's fine too. But for when we do have them, it could be tracked. And I was wondering what you guys thought about that.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
Agreed. Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, I think that could
easy
definitely
to
work
put
too.
our comments and
Okay, great. I had when I first joined the committee, I was very gung ho, and I was doing it that way. but then I didn't keep it up. So I'm gonna take what I had created and I'll try to like modify it so we could all be on the same document. And just something else that when I first joined the committee, and Jim, you might, if you have any other information, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Like we were asked to have a paper trail map and then like circle, like handwrite on that map, like where the issues were, if there was a fallen tree, if there was an issue. And that's what initially you hand in to the consultant, now Tara. And so I don't know, Jim, do you remember that too? And did you find that helpful, or do you think that helped DPW?
Well, I don't recall that specifically, but that sounds like a great idea. I mean, if we could do it one more, like Chuck would do, he would have the coordinates. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
GPS coordinates. Say, okay, this is where this is. But hey, a map would work as well. I mean, that I don't recall it, but that sounds like a great idea to get a little more action and a little bit more detailed information on any location. And I like the idea of a historical thing, because like I said, we may discuss benches and then nothing gets done, and then we kind of put it off for a while, and then, oh, hey, what about the benches? So it might just be someone's recollection rather than anything standardized or more documented. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Vanessa, we could similarly use the Field Maps app to do the same thing. So if they had made a copy of the current lines that we drew from our data collections, and just use that for us to record the points where the issues are, because instead of what we did was create lines and segments by starting the recording of the lines on the app. But if we just used it to record a specific point with the issue that's happening there, it could also be saved as a point on the map and a feature that AT and Tara would be able to access on a computer.
I'm sorry, would DPW be able to access that easily? Because this is the whole purpose, is to have something that they can utilize readily, so they know exactly what needs to get done, as well as us having a record of when we requested things and if it was accomplished. I'm trying to think of how to make it as easy as possible for people who we want to help do this to be able to access.
Yeah, well, if they do use the app, they'll absolutely be able to pull up the coordinates, like Chuck had done in the past. And I think it would just be a matter of whoever is recording the note in the app to what the date is when you recorded it. I imagine it should also record that on its own too. But it might be a little tricky because sometimes we don't have signal or reception where the issue may be.
Okay.
Chris, how do we share that with DPW?
So Chris, does it let you print? Does it let you print your observations that you have recorded on the map? So if it let you print, I think that printout we can send it to DPW. At least that way we can communicate to DPW.
Does DPW have some sort of ticketing system? So I'm new, right? So everything I say, please take with a grain of salt if I'm not quite understanding everything correctly. But it sounds like what we are looking for is some sort of mechanism by which we can track ongoing issues. Some of these ongoing issues that we want to track may in fact be requests that we want to send to the DPW for them to act on. So a idea of a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet, some sort of shared document in which we can, each row would represent an issue, and we can have the notes, we can have the coordinates of where the action is, and then we could use certain columns to say reference back to where this issue is being addressed, whether it be something. And so my question is I don't know how the township is administered yet. I'm at the beginning of my civic journey here in Franklin. Does the DPW have some sort of, in the parlance of the IT business that I'm in, they have some sort of ticketing system where you say, I am looking for a piece of work to be done, and they catalog that and they say, this is work item number 742. This is the person that requested it. This is, the priority status of it. And then you can go back and say, hey, tell me about issue number 742 and where that stands.
Yeah, so I talked I talked to Tara about this recently, and she was explaining to me that what DPW has requested from her is that she email email them. So she also mentioned to me that Tara's a consultant, she's not a township employee.
No,
So
I
she
got
said
that,
the township employees, I believe the current practice is they put it on the DPW calendar. So neither Tara or I really understood how that
Right.
works, like how you could just put something on somebody else's calendar. So I don't know how efficient, effective the system they're using is.
Right.
But because that's what you're saying is exactly what we're trying to go for here.
Yeah.
And because we can't control what they're doing
Right.
at this point, like if we at least have a system that
Right.
we can then say, hey, this is our log of
Right,
everything we've
exactly.
asked for. Maybe that's a step, but I
So
think
we can't- we
ultimately
obviously
need
can't
what you're saying.
Yeah, we can't control what happens, so the request goes into the black box of however that works, but at least and I'm concurring with what you are suggesting, right? So I think that's very easily done. I do it all the time with all the other volunteer organizations I am am part of. We'll have some sort of spreadsheet. These are our issues. We order them in order of priority, and then we can track them over time. We can put notes in there and say, this is something we asked for the DPW. We sent the email. We did their process. It's been 72 months since we've last, asked. Maybe we should ask for an update. I don't know, right? Right. So I'm trying
Have
to be
you been
funny.
tracking our
but-
benches? I think you've been
Right.
tracking our benches. There's 72 months.
But no, I think I don't think you can do it any other way, right? You have to have some sort of common document, or no one is going to remember from one meeting to the next as to what,
Right.
what did we talk about,
Okay,
right?
so I'll
I'm
throw that
in agreement.
together. I'll throw that together, and then hopefully we can over time add to it. Councilman, did you want to add something?
No, I was just going to add, keeping track of what the issues are and their status is a great idea, but the public work usually is pretty good. I mean, they respond timely, and you have to remember there's so many requests goes to them. Right. And but I think it's they do respond. I don't think it'll take forever. And
I was just trying to be funny.
Right. But if there's something urgent, you can always make a note of that, and then they will take care of it. Yeah. I mean,
So,
if there's, for example,
Councilman, you if you won't mind just touching base with Tara about that, because unfortunately we've had some challenges.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So if you could just touch base with Tara about it, we understand, and we've been very patient and supportive because we understand how much work is on the table. But it is, we're definitely, and we understand that we're not necessarily a priority. But yeah, there's definitely some bumps that we'd like to smooth out.
Yeah. Are there current outstanding issues that you like to be fixed?
Yes.
Okay. Where is that list? Where is that? Do you have that item? Have they been put into Public Works?
So Tara submits everything. So Tara submits the preferred methodology that she was told to do was to email it, and so that's what she does. Like I mentioned before, I have this table from when I joined the committee, 2015, 2016. I have items on this report that have still not been addressed. I quite honestly stopped reporting them because I knew they were never going to get tended to. So, some things are like, the chain that keeps people's cars and walking out off the trail from the lot. It's not like the biggest deal in the world. The fact that the signs, like the trail marker signs, are fallen over and not put back in the soil. Like there's things like that they're not priorities, but it's been 9 years. You stop asking. So, but there are other things like benches, some things get back ordered right now. And then there's other signs. So there's been a lot of degrading of the signs outside some of our trails. And we know that Public Works is going to replace all of them, but that takes a long time. And we're not at the top of that list. So some of it is we have to be patient. Some of it we just have to be patient. And some of it we would like a little more urgency. Like we've had some dangerous things. We've had benches that were dangerous. that needed to be addressed, and that just wasn't done in a timely manner. And we still have some things like that.
All right. Do me a favor. In the report that I'm going to be asking you to help me out, and that will be part of my council's comment, just put some of these concerns that you had. So I will bring it up with the township manager. And also I will bring it up with Mr. Carl Hawk, who's the public service manager. And hopefully, things, and I'll talk to Tara also, just to make sure that we're both on the same page.
Yes.
And hopefully these things will be addressed on a timely manner.
Right. And I know Tara has been in communication with the township manager and Carl as well.
Okay, great.
So yeah, so if
I'll
you were supporting that process,
I'll add a little bit weight. Let's put it that way.
We appreciate your support and advocacy.
Sure.
And as for developing something moving forward to record our concerns and what they are on the trails, and to what Robert had suggested in having a spreadsheet, what if we developed a Google form that asks what the issue is, where it's happening, and it would automatically record when we submit the form, what the issue is, and when we submitted that. And then it would automatically go into a spreadsheet, which on the back end we could administer and check off what's been brought forward to, say, the council or public works attention, and it would just be easy to work.
So I think I misunderstood. I thought we were talking about just like an internal record of keeping track of issues, and so what you are suggesting is something that anyone, like the general public, can say that this is a concern or something like that, because that would now in fact become like what I was suggesting, a ticketing system, right? Where you can, I don't know, you were talking about just us, or are you talking about the general public, or are you talking about anybody, right?
But anybody, I guess, yeah.
But it can certainly be done. Yeah. So for the record, I probably shouldn't say this too soon. I do have the kind of skills to help put together, that kind of thing, a Google form that'll feed right into a Google Doc that can be shared, with everybody, where you can keep a running track of your concerns, a rudimentary ticket system, right, as it were, that I was saying, where you can say, hey, look, there's an issue at this spot, whether it be for internal use only or partially external use as well. But yeah, that'll certainly work.
Robert, honestly, I mean, one of the best way that you can address some of the issues is that if the public is walking and they see a bench, for example, is broken, or if there's a danger, if they can just go to the township and in the public work, just put in what they've seen. If they have a picture, will be really great, because they always look for pictures. And if they do that, most likely will be addressed much sooner than this stuff coming, 10 of them suddenly from this committee.
Yeah, so I agree.
Everybody, the public, when they walk in, if they see something dangerous, it's okay to go and enter that, and somebody will pay attention.
So, okay, so basically, there's two ideas here. We have this idea of doing this Google form that would allow us to quickly produce a spreadsheet from that, and that could be for us, and we could have the same thing be available to the public, or we could have them done separately, one for us, one for the public. So if that's something that could be drafted, and then maybe we could look at it next. If somebody wanted to draft something,
I think council was suggesting that doing something for the public might be a bit too much for us, and we should leave that to the DBW, and maybe we should just collect our own issues internally, right? I think that's what you were suggesting.
What I was saying, Robert, is that if a public sees an issue in town, they should just go into the township website, fill out the information, and attach a picture if they can. And let the public, the Department of Public Affairs take care of, right? But if you wanted, for example, gather that information for yourself, just say, okay, during the year, these were many issues that we saw, and all of them have been addressed or still is not. That's a different story. So I'm not so sure what you're going to do with that data, but I think might be useful for you to say during the year what kind of issues you had, what are the issues that's still pending to be resolved, right? So you can do that too. But as far as entering any work relating to safety, something happened in trail, or chain is not there, and so forth, anybody can. Whenever somebody sees this, they should just go ahead and enter it. Or you may even have, I'm just curious whether or not you have this or not, you may even have some signs at different places that if there's an issue, either call this number or send a picture along with this to this place. So that way they'll come to your team and you can enter that, fill out that form. So that's another option for you to look into.
So I think we should just get started with creating this form and this spreadsheet for ourselves. Let's get the ball rolling with that. And then we can, if we want to expand that in some way, or if we want to, post for them to use the township website in the way the councilman was just describing, we could do that as well.
But I agree,
So-
it'd be good just to get the ball rolling with us. And I think it's also helpful because we can help prioritize items to be handled, because there's only so many things they're going to do, right? So it'd be great if we also had a look at it and could prioritize what needs to get done first, because otherwise it's just overwhelming and nothing will get done.
Yep.
Okay. So sorry, that was a long intro into trail updates. So this is a segment of the meeting. And the other piece is if we're using this system, we won't need to verbally do what we're about to do now. And share verbally share our trail updates and have to record them and then go that way. I know this time of year people don't get out on the trails quite as much. They're very wet right now. But does anybody have a trail update?
Well, I certainly do. And Vanessa is a witness because she was there also. Just walking in Negri last Sunday, just looking at the bird blind, looking at the pond. I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to get done there. Looking at some of the benches, and I could certainly write all this stuff up. But I mean, even just the pathway down there, it's really becoming overgrown. It needs to get redone with the red paver stone again. There were some slight improvements to the blind, but still the path up there and the flooring needs to be fixed and renovated at least. And then the view from there is getting overgrown and the cattails are coming in and growing into the whole pond. And then I don't think the whole thing was ever mowed this fall. So there's a lot of issues, and maybe, addressing it in this way will help get some things resolved quicker.
I know, and we were talking, I think the floor of the bird blind was like the biggest kind of, it was degrading concern of the repairs that were done were to the actual structure, but the floor was in bad shape. I know Tara had mentioned that, right? So she had to put into a draft budget to have a major overhaul, a new bird blind. So there's a possibility that will happen. But if not, we definitely want to push for the floor at least to be addressed.
Yeah. And the vegetation around it has to be mowed and cut down, or else there's nothing to see.
Right. Okay. So bird blind, vegetation, benches, cattails. Okay.
Mowing. I'll also talk to Chuck. I think he might remember the mowing schedule. I'm sure we have it written down in one of our documents, but obviously it didn't happen.
So Robert, just so you know, as a member of the Trails Advisory Committee, you get to adopt a trail. So each of us.
There you go, Robert.
We're all gonna, right? That's the okay. That sounds excellent. Do I have to, I don't have to decide today, do I? I want to walk them all now, right?
Well, but so essentially you have to adopt a trail that needs to be adopted.
Right. No, I would imagine.
So but we can, we can also, we can discuss next time, so for instance, I have adopted the Bunker Hill natural area and the Franklin Park natural area. Anne Marie is Negrina Pote. Jim, you're Inman Park, right, Jim?
Yes. Yep. Mhm.
Jignasha, remind me which is your trail?
John Clyde Grassland.
And so you and Chris share the grasslands, right?
Mhm.
Chris does the
He does
wooded
the
half, and you do the grass half.
Mhm.
So we still have Middlebush Park that is not adopted. We used to have two people at Bunker Hill Franklin Park. I originally was just a Franklin Park side. Somebody else was a Bunker Hill side. But definitely Middlebush. The Environmental Center, or is that part of John Clyde?
No, I think
Like the
Environmental Center is not part of John Clyde, I guess.
It's probably separate.
Butler Road. Butler Road right now.
Yeah.
So we can discuss if any current trail members want to switch. If anybody's interested in switching their trail. If not, we know Middlebush is open. We know Butler is open.
Middlebush is the closest one to me, but that's actually a pretty small area, though, isn't it? I mean, there's a
It
couple of
is.
things that come in there. So I would say definitely, I'm happy to take Middlebush, and then we could probably add to it because Middlebush is certainly the closest to me. But I don't think I probably have to do more. I suspect I'll have to do more.
Okay.
That's too late.
Pravesh, thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully, please fill out that application, and we look forward to you possibly joining us on the committee, and maybe you can adopt Butler Road Trail.
Right.
Okay. For Franklin Park and Bunker Hill, I just I have some concerns. Mostly the trails have been very wet, so I haven't been going out there much. But the parking lot area, like the chain separating the parking lot from the trail, is down, and the sign is still missing. The big wooden sign went missing. That still has not been replaced. And the kiosk is empty. I know the same thing with the Griggstown, Johns Clyde. I know Tara was struggling because DPW lost the key, and there's still no key. So, I think ultimately we're going to need to, if we can't get a key for it, we're going to need to replace it again for that. But that's my update for Franklin Park and Bunker Hill. Okay, if there are no further reports, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Jignasha seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, hearing no nays or abstentions, motion carries. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you all so much.